What's up, everybody? It's Jacob coming to you live from Denver, Colorado, from an undisclosed location near the Rocky Mountains. Thanks for coming out tonight. Yeah, I've been gone for a couple of weeks. Some pretty major stuff happened. Good stuff. Don't worry, nothing bad. So I'll get you all caught up on what's been going on. Some pretty big things happening. I just had to adjust some things that I was doing. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. It looks like I have my levels. Everything looks good. Looks like video stream's good. Audio looks good. I think we're good to go. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. And yeah, busy. Everybody's busy. So yeah, don't worry. I didn't even stream the last couple of weeks, so you didn't miss much. But yeah, I wasn't releasing videos either. But let me kind of show you what's going on here. See if I can call it up here. I'll just show, because I posted just a nebulous screenshot and A lot of you probably didn't even really see it, so I'll show you. So yeah, I been talking about my AI game platform for quite some time, and I made a little bit of headway with it, and I showed it to a school that I'm attending, and the guy who runs the school got really excited. So he had some ideas that he wanted me to implement in it to help me shake it down. It's not really like a monetary deal so much, but it's more, he's very well connected. There's some networking opportunities. Plus I get access to his thousands of students to test it. So, you know, you can't pay that kind of money to get that kind of testing and that kind of shakedown. So it's a really huge opportunity. So I had to, in order to kind of, protect parties involved and things like that, I have to set up a business entity. And, so that took a little bit of extra effort. So I wasn't able to record videos. Oh, thank you, Rusty. I appreciate that. I was kind of hoping that my school would take a bite on it, to be honest. And I'll kind of get into a little detail of what parts they're really excited about, and how it actually would work for training IT professionals, because it's a game platform. It's like why would games like be interesting to an IT school? So I'll kind of get into why it actually is a very natural cousin in a sec here. Let's see, but let's audio's good. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. So Lisa planted her flag first. Thanks for coming out, Lisa. I appreciate you noticing that I was gone. I wasn't bleeding out or anything. Everything's good. I just got super busy, and I had to set up an office. I had to create the business entity, and then I was getting stir crazy anyway, and you know, there were multitudes of reasons why I did the office, but to basically go somewhere, dress up like a human being, because I was finding that, you know, I've been unemployed for a year and a half, and so, you know, I get up in the morning and I'm starting to realize, you know, my morning routine's getting longer and longer and longer, and I'm just not getting stuff done. And so I felt, you know, I need to get an office space so I can go out. And actually what this is a co-working space. If you're not in IT, you probably really wouldn't know what that is, or maybe you do, but usually this is like where you rent a desk. So this desk is basically mine. It's got my name on it. I put, you know, my equipment, I leave my monitor there and just bring my laptop and hack around. And then there's other people that come and go in the room, you know, whenever, however. There's one guy that's like studying biochemistry, he's working on his thesis, and then there's somebody in front of me that has a web design company, and then there's a bunch of other marketing, and there's a lawyer, an accountant in the building. And so the other reason why I wanted to get the co-location, or I'm sorry, the co-working desk, is so that I start getting my routine, take a shower every day, put some clothes on, dress like a human, go to a location and network, meet people, and start talking about what I'm building. And so there you go. Yeah, so see, we have Lisa in here. Timmy, I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. D-Man, wow, cool. The original D-Man. Thanks for coming out tonight. Phil's in, an off and on regular. It's cool. I understand. I know, you know, our schedules are crazy. So I appreciate you just taking time and coming out tonight. That's awesome. And of course, we got our wrenched up Rusty Rivers. So good to see you again, buddy. It's been a while. Been watching all your videos and your travels, and I'm sitting here tied to a water cooler coding, and you're out there having a good old time. So I've been living vicariously through your videos, of which I saw that you did tag me on a video about Skynet. So we'll watch that in a little bit. It's cute. Let's see here. And Batty Commander, awesome. Thanks for coming out, Batty. I know you're streaming off and on here, so I appreciate you coming out, and your sense of humor is always a fun mix when you come in. So where did I leave off? Yeah, so I got the working space. set up the business entity, starting to work with the school. And the point is like, this is a gaming platform. Why would games be interesting to an IT training program? And there's two things. The first thing is I already demonstrated the quiz mechanism to you guys early, like last month, where I can show questions, and then you all go to a web browser and click the answer inside a web browser. And then inside the live stream, it renders, what the choices are in real time. Pardon me, tea's kicking in. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is I was talking about adding another module where I can do text adventure games. So if you remember when y'all were youngins, there were these choose your own adventure books. They were really popular when I was like 10, 11 years old, early 80s, but they kind of started in the late 70s. And the thing about the text adventure is you read a little bit, and then at the end of the chapter, you have to make a decision that either, furthers you on in the adventure, ends up in your demise, or you're just kind of stranded and you kind of just are stuck, right? So you start over and go back, kind of like a maze. And so in the IT world, there's cybersecurity, and they do simulations where they simulate cyber attacks, like blue team, red team. So red team attacks, blue team defends. And so the IT school is helping me define what the story is, like what the choose your own adventure is. And so I will be setting that up so we can simulate cybersecurity breaches and train the students on how to be more proactive. So when, say, somebody attacks a database and it's called exfiltration, they start stealing all the data, and all of a sudden all this traffic shows up and all the data is leaving the network, and there's equipment that goes, hey, there's like massive amounts of data moving at 3 a.m. in the morning. Somebody has to do something. So, who gets alerted? So the person gets alerted, and then they have to go, well, okay, confirm, yes, this is happening. I block it. And then you have to notify certain parties, figure out what was exfiltrated or stolen. So, that's just one scenario. And so that's something that I'm working on. And all because of AI, I'm able to build a lot of this because given the complexity of the project, I would say a year and a half ago, you would easily be 6 programmers. Probably take a couple weeks to do what I've done so far. Only really took me like 3-4 days maybe. So yeah, pretty powerful stuff. All right, but anyway, that's what's been going on. So the last couple of weeks, I just got waylaid by that opportunity. So could not let that go idle. So I jumped on it, and now that I've kind of got the rhythm going and I'm set up, ready to go, I will be doing streaming as regular, Saturday 7 p.m. same time slot, and my one weekly video release. So we'll start that back up again next week. It'll be back on schedule. So anyway, hope you all missed me. I'm back. So let's get into some fun stuff. So I thought what I would do is I would continue on with some of the other videos that we were watching the last couple of live streams, where we go back in the past and pull out film archives and show the parallels between the problems of old technology, the fears, all the economic things that happen. Nothing has changed. It's still the same thing, even with AI today. So I picked a few films out of the BBC archive, and also a couple of modern things with the founder of OpenAI talking about his fears around AI. The guy who invented ChatGPT has fears of AI. So I thought we would just kind of mix it up a little bit tonight and watch a few short videos, and then we'll interject, and then of course we'll throw in some AI characters for you to interact with, the 8-Ball Oracle and the Hale 9000. So let me see if I can find. Actually, you know what? Let's start with Rusty's Skynet video here. So he's got, by the way, Rusty, Skynet is one word. It's all good, dude. Let's see. Skynet AI robots are here. So let's see. And that, it's actually interesting that you put this up, Rusty, because I'm going to show more of this kind of thing happening and explore some changes that are happening in the job market. But let's watch this real quick.
This is Captain Rusty Rivers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in hot pursuit of a Skynet robot. Look at this. They're here. They are here amongst us already. This is a freaking AI robot. Oh my God.
So there you go. Skynet is not going to come, breaking into our bunkers with guns blazing. They're just going to numb us with drugs. Keep us fat and happy so we don't know what's going on. Awesome. Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate that. So yeah, actually, I had some other videos prepared. Like, I kind of wanted to show you some other things that are happening in restauranteering, I think is the terminology. There's all kinds of I can't play the sound because it's someone talking in Chinese, number one, but also there's music. But I'll just play this in the background while I talk. But you'll notice there are no servers in this restaurant except the guy who's cleaning the tables. And what's interesting about this, this is actually probably 10, 15 years old, maybe. And they make these carts where you sit at the table, you do your order, and then the carts are themed. So like there's a spaceship, race car, all kinds of fun stuff. And I think they had like even Marvel's things. But the point that I'm getting at is I've talked in the past about the sandwich effect, the smushioning. I call it the great smushioning, where you have all the jobs in the bottom and the jobs on the top. We're already seeing a lot of white collar jobs go away because of automation and some AI. Not so much that your entire job is fully automated and a robot's doing the job for you. It's more that it's people that know how to use the tool. Like I'm using a tool called Cursor to do the coding of 8 people, right? So it's more like that. Oh, here's the themed ones. See if I can, yeah, there we go. Spider-Man, Iron Man, pretty cool. And it looks like some of these are designed, you put your plate back on and it takes the plate back to the dishwasher. So I think what's going to happen is with this is what you would call physical AI, where you have AI in an automation process where there's a mechanical element. And I think we'll probably see something like the first middle class fast food worker, where you'll have maybe 2-3 people working in a restaurant and they're all being paid like $50,000, maybe even up to $80,000 a year to basically run these systems and be the orchestrators. Oh yeah, okay. So here's the other part of the system where they feed it in the front of the house, and then all the plates and waste and stuff go into the kitchen. But anyway, that's one thing. And then let's see, we got the pizza robot that makes pizza. This video is actually, I think, like 5 years old. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back with your order. But we already have the system at the table where you order and pay your own bill. There's already McDonald's that are there's one that's fully automated that they're working all the kinks out right now. So once they get that worked out, they'll start deploying more of that. And honestly, I don't think a lot of these people really want these jobs because the pay is crap and they're dirty, they're smelly. I just don't think a lot of people really want these jobs. So is it really bad that they're automating all of this? I mean, what do you think in the chat? Let me know. I'm curious what you think about that. But, I think, like I said, I think we're going to get to the point where you'll actually see like middle class more like high level thinking people working in the restaurant instead of, like a disheveled punk rock person pushing icons on a cash register. Yeah. Let's see what we have here in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so let's see what we have here. Yeah, Timmy, I am going to actually talk about that a little bit. The internet and cell phones have completely changed our society and culture the past couple decades. The days of a house party is over. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I have a few videos. We're gonna like look at the early days of phones and the creator of the web and how they and then how they got merged together. They're short videos, and we'll go over that. But yeah, that's definitely a true statement. Yeah, Batty. It's funny you should mention this. Your favorite kind of food, booger free. That's actually one of the main reasons. Actually, let's see if I have the video. One of the main selling points of automating is what was it? Not sterile, but like cleanliness or something. Yeah, it was code for no hair nets and boogers in your burgers. Yeah, here it is. So here's a company, a corporate video of a robot making burgers. So let's see here. And this is like where you'll see like the higher level thinking employees feeding the burgers into the device or the machine or process, and then they spend all their time engaging with the customers and doing the ambiance and making, the dining experience really high end. So let me clear that message. And I believe this is this video is 3 months old, but this robot has already been deployed into a restaurant in San Jose, I believe.
BurgerBots is a food assembling machine that assembles burgers. It's here for consistency, transparency, and efficiency in the world of food. I wanted to take a...
Yeah, transparency, Batty. That was the word I was looking for. The process of making your food is now fully transparent. That's corporate BS.
The task that has the most turnover, the jobs that people don't want to do. We're here to elevate the restaurant force.
BurgerBots shows what's possible when ABB's robotics innovation steps out of the factory and into the kitchen. Our robots are bringing industrial precision, speed, hygiene, and reliability to...
Yeah, hygiene and reliability. But you'll notice that they keep pushing, it's going to elevate the employee, well, the one that's left feeding the meat into the machine.
One of the most exciting, fast-moving industries out there.
Definitely interesting. I think it's going to really transform the food industry. I was completely amazed by the complexity of the whole thing.
The combination of the human hand and the robot hand together, just spectacular.
There's a predictability of knowing that this is going to be precise every single time.
BurgerBot essentially does all of the jobs that you don't want to do.
There you go, right there. He said it out loud. BurgerBot does all the jobs you don't want to do. So what's left in a fast food restaurant at that point?
It's really quick, really efficient, and it's as simple as dropping off a patty and letting it do its thing.
The message from the restaurant industry was clear. Robots bring speed and efficiency and can also help them overcome labor shortages and recruitment gaps.
Okay, so labor shortages and recruitment gaps. How many times have you gone into a fast food restaurant and saw the same person working there twice that was not a manager? I'll wait. I haven't, certainly since the cough. And this is kind of the problem in most retail situations, to be honest, but especially fast food. So it kind of forces their hand because, like Batty's saying, poor babies, $15 an hour to cut tomatoes. Don't worry, they'll automate that too someday. But I think it's more of doing front of house, talking to the customers, and then making the experience, cleaning the room, cleaning the toilets, and that's pretty much it. But will it raise the wages? Probably not. I still don't think it would be a highly desirable job. But I guess I just kind of find it hilarious that they say that it's going to make the work better. They'll think at a higher level. That's AI. I mean, okay, it's true if you're pushing bits on a computer. Like if you're a code monkey like me, sure, you're thinking at a higher level. But this is fast food. I mean, really, how much higher do you need to think to serve a freaking cheeseburger? So it's all just corporate speak around, making AI sound sexy and fancy. But really, it's all bottom line talk. Yeah, Rusty, this is the thing. Burger prices will continue to rise. Yeah, the prices never go down, do they? That profit margin's going to grow, and they won't pass it on. I think the only thing that'll make the price go down is the deflationary forces of people not working as much to afford the burgers, right? So there you go. Kind of, it's a vicious circle, honestly. But I think, that's short term, but long term, I think there'll be all new jobs. We don't even know what they are. I talk about this here and there. You've probably heard this statistic before, but the last time they tracked it, I think it was 2017. It was pre-COVID, but the statistic was that 60% of all job skills in 2017 did not exist in 1945. So that's kind of, that's a lot of innovation. And I guess it's all kind of going on almost 100 years ago. So that is a long time. But that innovation, the speed, will go faster and faster and faster. There's going to be a hockey stick effect. So it's not going to take like 125, 150 years for the Industrial Revolution, for AI to all the changes to come in through society and all the new jobs. I think it'll happen much faster. But with the Industrial Revolution, it took a long time. It was multi-generational. I think it'll happen within a generation. What those jobs are, I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, Batty Commander, you're right. Shareholders are they're gonna salivate over that profit margin, and oh, Lisa, you're a vegetarian? Well, there's fast food veg, right? Here, you're in New England, right? So you probably know about Mad Greens and stuff like that. There was another video, I couldn't find it, but it was an AI or a robot making salad. So there you go. Yeah. All right, so let's continue on with the robot video here. We'll finish that out, and then we'll go back in time and laugh at the funny people talking about the phones and the texts. Here we go. All right, too many windows. I need to clean this up. Oh, I see, Lisa. Thank you.
In fact, when we asked the industry, 89% of hospitality managers and 73% of workers were open to the idea of introducing robotics into their business.
Okay. Do you really believe that statistic? They know the job's going to go away. 89% of hospitality managers. Okay, that one. But the workers? That seems kind of high to me. Because when they say hospitality managers, I think of resorts, I think hotels, more high-end stuff. I don't think fast food. So I don't know. I think that number, I think that's just more corporate jockeying to justify what they're doing.
Were open to the idea of introducing robotics into their business. But the real surprise? Many saw robots as a way to spend even more time with customers. By taking care of the repetitive work, they let people focus on what really matters. That's the magic of hospitality. A great food, a great service, and unforgettable moments.
Yeah, I'll be like the manager of that burger place. I'll just stand there. You gonna finish that? take a fry off the plate and eat it.
I think this is just the beginning. As labor challenges continues and consumer expectations around speed and consistency grows, robotics will become less of a novelty and more of a necessity.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because like I said, we already have turnover problem. It's very expensive to train the employees. And frankly, you know, part of the problem is that it's a crappy job with crappy pay. You're not paid enough to care. But then again, like how much, you know, well, it's an inflation problem. I won't get into all the numbers, but you know, it's with the robots, they kind of have no choice. They kind of have to do it to make the restaurants profitable. Cause like you go to like, okay, it's like this. I remember when I was in college and I was poor, there was a spectrum of fast food, right? You go to Taco Bell, that was like, okay, that's like the cheap. I got $1. I know I'm at least going to get 2 tacos. And then the next cost tier was like Jack in the Box, maybe McDonald's. And then above that would be Burger King, then Wendy's. And then later on in the 90s when Chipotle comes on the scene, that's like, ooh, you know, that's the high-end food. Now it's all like, no matter where you go, it's all like $13, $14, no matter what you buy. So yeah, I don't know. Everything's all out of whack. Okay, so let me get the next deal ready here. But my point of showing you these is that I was talking again earlier, the great smushioning, right? All the white collar jobs are, I've been seeing that first. I shouldn't say all the jobs, but I've been seeing lots of white collar jobs at threat of AI, which is new. Automation and AI and all those tools would normally not be a threat to those kinds of jobs. So now they are. So that's different this time around. But I wanted to show you these videos because in the bottom of the ladder, all the beginner jobs, you know, all the dummy jobs, so to speak, you know, for, because when I was coming up, fast food work was like when you're a teenager, when you wanted to just earn a quick buck so you could have gas money, walking money, you know, get a free meal here and there. Now, you know, those jobs are essentially going to be fewer and farther in between. And so how are we going to get people to learn how to show up to like a job on time, dressed, you know, for the position, train for whatever the skills are, because you have to learn how to do all that, right? Learn how to go through the process of becoming part of a company. So, you know, how are new beginners going to learn how to jump into the workforce? Because everything, the way it's skewing, the top is shrinking, the bottom's pretty much going away. Now you have all these middle people with all the skills that actually, like, you know, screw the bolts down and build all the stuff. They're the ones that will use the tools that will replace the people at the top and at the bottom. So yeah, it's an interesting problem, interesting conundrum. I'm not really sure what to do about it other than they're going to just really have to change the way they educate people. Because we still kind of have like the old factory model. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but there's that, the bell goes off at a certain time and you have your periods that you go in between. They're going to have to really re-engineer how they teach people to be more resilient, more emotionally intelligent, do more with their hands, higher level thinking. That, you know, it's not going to be enough. And especially with all the woke and the DEI crap they've been pushing, they're even more screwed. It's even worse. All right, so let's see. All right, let's see what y'all are talking about in the chat here. I was going off on my grandpa rant. Yeah, that's an interesting argument, Batty. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, yes. He says, Jacob, if you get rid of worker, i.e. slaves, you don't need as many overlords to push people to exploit their labor for their bonus. Shareholders win. Time to start investing in future food. Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's going to be an even broader, the haves and have-nots or wider gap. But like I said, I'm more optimistic. The short term, I think that's definitely what'll happen. But keep in mind that 60% of all the job skills we have today did not exist in 1945. Maybe I can explore with ChatGPT what the percentage, how it changed, how it ramped up maybe later on. But there's going to be new jobs, new skills. And what I think is going to happen is jobs are just generally going to be more complicated. We're going to use a lot more tools. And you're going to kind of have this class of people that'll come out of that'll be more entrepreneurial and say, well, if you're going to make me use all these tools and you're going to make me do all this extra complicated crap for you, I'm just going to start my own business. I'm just going to be your competitor. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we'll have a much more decentralized workforce. The idea of like showing up somewhere, working for an employer, a 30-year job with a pension, that's been dead for a long time. But a long career, I think that's over. I think what it's going to be is pivoting regularly. You're going to have to be resilient. You're going to have to learn new skills on the regular. And you're going to be more like a consultant and work for many different bosses. Because there's just not going to be enough work to sit at one job. So that's what I think is eventually going to happen. Now, of course, if you're in the trades or manipulating materials and resources, that's a little different. You'll be working alongside robots. There'll be a lot of like automation of building off site and shipping on site for new things. But if you're like a journeyman, it'll still be all the old school way. You repair all the stuff that's built. But anything that's new, they'll be cranking it out super fast. Yeah, Rusty, no joke. Family needs to take a loan out to go to McDonald's now. Yeah, I hear a lot about people putting fast food on Klarna, like pay buy now, pay later and shit like that. It's crazy. There's just something wrong. It's all out of balance. Oh, and Timmy asking me about where do I see dating and marriage going? I kind of go back and forth on that. There's a study that came out end of last year that said that, my short answer is I think AI is going to absolutely destroy the really modern Marxist form of feminism. So we're kind of getting into some more red pill stuff here because, but the idea of a lot of the jobs, well, it's not the idea, but a lot of the jobs that women typically take, because they don't go out into like the environment, manipulate materials, do all the hard physical labor. Those jobs are pretty secure. There'll be robotics and other things that will assist with lifting heavy things, staging materials and stuff like that. So basically you'll just, kind of be more like an architect and point and say, robot, put the nail there on the wall, hang the drywall there. And I kind of see that's kind of how it'll eventually be like in the trades. But you'll still have to like get in the walls and, do things too. But that's, beginner work is going to go away. The guy who earns his way sweeping the floor, that's all going away. But anyway, I squirreled. The study said that I believe it was 79% of all jobs held by women will be largely displaced by AI by 2030. And so, in the red pill, there's talk about the boss lady or like corporate welfare. Like a lot of the jobs are just kind of really easy, low effort, moving from here to here. And AI, or data from this spot to that spot, are changing a bit here, flipping this over there. AI is incredible at that. It's very good at that. But one thing has to happen to really make that 79% really come to fruition. Because right now we have what is called narrow AI. And narrow AI can only solve problems it's seen before. And that's what a lot of the tools that we're using are based on, is narrow AI. We kind of need more of the getting closer to the general intelligence where AI can solve problems on its own. But even before we get to that, because that'll take a lot of energy, a lot of computational power. And the only thing that I'm aware of that would be close to actually having the computational capability and energy to run an AGI, never mind actually have it, have the technology, is that Stargate project that was like a $500 billion data center. And I mean, that's like nation state level crap. So there's no way corporations are going to be able to touch, build a $500 billion data center and spin up, an AI to do all that. But there's an intermediary called agentic AI. And you can stuff like ChatGPT inside of an agent, and I'm oversimplifying, but that's the easiest way I can explain it. And so with the agentic AI, it has natural language. You can talk to it, instruct it, and it can talk back to you and tell you what it's doing, and you can correct it through natural language. That's a major thing. But the huge thing with agentic AI is that it's autonomous. It's Skynet, right? It can run by itself without any human intervention. And right now, depending on who you talk to and what tools you're using and what their specialty is, agents really cannot run much longer than a few hours. Even ChatGPT, they have an agent, and I think it can run for like 30 minutes to an hour now on its own, which is a major improvement from like 2 months ago. Because they were in the last study I saw, they were talking about agents running 3 hours without human intervention. And, I think they were saying by 2030, agents will be able to run entirely autonomously without any human intervention, meaning they don't make mistakes. They're efficient. They do the job. You're not constantly having to monitor. They do the job, come back, and everything's good. They're saying by, I think it was 2030, 20, maybe a little earlier, they'll be able to run an entire month without any human intervention. But most work tasks really aren't a month, so we would really need to get to like maybe as long as a business day, maybe a week for more complicated tasks and projects. So, when we get to the level where agentic AI can do all those corporate jobs, we'll see a lot of women getting displaced out of work. And that's where the whole, don't need a man thing kind of comes into play. Well, sorry to tell you, maybe we'll start to see all that like really extreme feminism rhetoric temper down a lot. And, we'll see. But that's how I think it'll affect dating, is that we'll start to see, I think, more of a softening of all that rhetoric. But that study, the men will be affected 59%. So there will be victims on both sides. So did I answer your question? I know there's some squirreling in there, Timmy. There's a lot of information, but actually that would be a really good video for me to go in much more detail, or maybe I could dedicate a whole live stream to that. Yeah. So, and some of you know, I started this channel as a red pill. So, I probably have some things that are going to be a little painful for some of my listeners to hear. So, but yep, there you have it. There's data around that, and there's other studies that are coming out that are saying that it's going to be 90% women, and what was the number? It went higher for men. It was in the high 60s percentile. But it's bad. It's bad for everybody. Yeah, Lily, I'll be honest with you. This is already happening. This is probably like the first thing that I noticed when people were on social media. They were talking about they're getting laid off from AI, because there's a number floating around out there in the last month where they were saying that 10,000 jobs have actually only been lost to AI, and that's actually pretty tiny, but that means that it's 10,000 jobs that were lost to AI directly because AI could do the job completely. But even with writing, you still have to have a human prompt ChatGPT and say, hey, this is the topic I want to write about. It has to be this long. It's got a form and all this stuff. So there's still human orchestrating, but you're not having as many writers. You don't have to have the editor. The AI can do all of that. So it's definitely already happening. And there are many articles that when I watch videos, like reaction videos, I'm like, oh, there's this crazy article on somebody said something or somebody did this. And I'll go look at the article and I'm like, an AI totally wrote this. and it's just like super nonsensical or just a really ridiculous claim that's just kind of doesn't really have any backing to it, but it's sort of like has like cultural pinnings to it that would like make people think or help people like, oh yeah, that's true, that could totally happen. So yeah, it's already there, it's already happening. Oh hey Orlando, thanks for dropping a $5 in there. I really appreciate that. Let's see what he says. And thanks for subscribing, because you must have had to subscribe in order to get into the chat. So thank you so much. He says, it's hard enough to keep up last 20 years as a software engineer learning new languages, frameworks, tools, but was doable. With AI, I don't think it's possible to keep up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Big like on that, Orlando. Yeah. You're new here. I don't know when you joined the stream, but that's what I did for 25 years. I was a software engineer, and I got laid off a year and a half ago. And while I didn't get laid off because of AI, I did see tools like Cursor come out, and the capabilities of that software are just absolutely mind-blowing. Because really the trick, and not just to like bore everybody with software engineering, but this is the case whenever you use any natural language model or ChatGPT, it's context. You have to give the AI the context around what you're talking about so it has a better understanding. And with the coding, I document everything like I would with a project manager. But what's even crazier, Orlando, is I will talk with an AI as they are my project manager and define the project and build it out. And then I take that and feed it into another AI to do the coding. So it's, yeah. And there was even a project I worked on that used a language I had no experience using before. I didn't even know it existed. And that's actually what drives my my Hale 9000 character, which, by the way, I will I'll just pull this up real quick in case you want to. Now's the time to maybe, if you want to ask a question of the Hale 9000, you just put into the live chat. You have, if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, you do need to be a subscriber in order to put the exclamation mark H9 command followed by your question. Keep the question short, no quotes and no emojis, please. Appreciate that. And we'll transmit it to the Hale 9000, and he will answer in the infamous voice. And of course, we have the 8-Ball Oracle, which has 20 answers to all life's questions. And if you want to send a question to the 8-Ball Oracle, it's bang number 8-ball space your question, and feel free to pop them into the chat while I talk. And as they build up in the queue, we'll come back and visit and have the AIs answer your questions. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, big head. Back to the big head. So let's see here. But yeah, Orlando, it's I gave up on software. Just some career advice. I gave up on trying to become or try and maintain my career as a software engineer. And now I'm building these AI things, and the AIs have to live somewhere, right? They're just software programs. They solve a data problem, and software has to live somewhere. So I decided to become a cloud architect so I can build the infrastructure that the AIs live on. And also another job too that you might want to look at is cybersecurity, because these AIs, they're without security, they're very dangerous. I think I have, no, not tonight's live stream, but a video this week. I'm actually going to show how you can hack an AI by just talking mean to it. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, so cybersecurity, cloud architecture, but you can still do software engineering, but you just do a lot less of it. And but now you know where to put the AI. So just a little career advice. And that's what I've been doing the last year, studying to do. And so far, so good. While the jobs are fewer and farther between, I'm getting more callbacks on the cloud architect jobs. Let's just say that. But if you do want more information on that, you feel free actually here. My email address is right up here. You can email me directly if you have any questions about that. I can send you some other things to help you explore that more, or some other kinds of jobs. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. I nerded, but thank you, Orlando. I appreciate your super chat. That was awesome. Let's see here. So what do we have also? Let's see. Lisa's agrees on the journalists losing their job. Yeah. And not only that, I mean, how long has journalism really been like actual journalism? Because no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, news is entertainment now. And they're not really doing true journalism. And they often break the one of the first rules you learn in journalism school is don't become part of the story. They do it all the time. They totally break that rule. Okay, let's see. We'll scroll down here. Okay, so it looks like we got a Hail 9000 question queued up from Batty Commander. I'll wait till a few more come in. Oh, thanks for coming out, Timmy. I appreciate you. Are you in? I can't, because there's a couple Timmys. You're either in Australia or you're in Phoenix. I can't remember which, but either way, thanks for coming out, brother. I appreciate you. Okay, so we're caught up on the chat. So let's pull up. I like to go back in the past, and I like to look at old BBC archives. So fair use, YouTube. Don't get all mad at me here, but we're going to look at a video that came out in 1976, and they're introducing the incredible cordless mobile phone in 1976. So this is a short one. So let's see what the perceptions of people were like back then.
Well, one of the things that we actually enjoy best of all on Blue Peter is being able to show brand new inventions. Earlier today, we recorded an experiment here in the studio that should be of interest to anyone who ever has to use the telephone. We started off with 2 telephones, and this one was perfectly normal.
Fair use, YouTube. And what is going on with that posh accent? Hello.
It's the sort of phone you've probably got at home. It's got a handset, a curly bit of wire that goes down to here, and then a cable that goes all the way to the telephone exchange.
Well, I've got the other telephone here, and it looks more like a shoulder bag, really, than a proper telephone. It's got its own portable handset here, which has its own dial built into it.
Really? That's hilarious. It's rotary dial. Okay, so for those of you that are younger, a rotary dial is you put your finger into, so I think that's number 4. And so you drag your finger all the way around, and then it would go, and then you'd have to wait, and then dial the next number, do 6, drag it over, and then have to wait. And it was annoying and slow as hell. So this is hilarious that they had a rotary dial on a mobile phone, because there ain't no way you're driving and dialing that thing.
What makes it so unusual is if I get up and walk around, you'll see that there are absolutely no trailing cables of any kind. It's not connected.
Okay, Batty, look at that. Look at this. Look at them bell bottoms with the polyester. One match and the dude's going to be ablaze. He'll be set on fire.
No trailing cables of any kind. It's not connected to anything at all because it's got its own built-in transmitter and receiver. Well, there's nothing really extraordinary, I suppose, in having a sort of walkie-talkie radio, but this is the first one that you can actually use with an ordinary telephone. And the other good thing about it is that when you use it, you don't have to dial through the operator as you would with an ordinary mobile car phone.
Well, we're going to give you a demonstration of how this new invention works.
Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know we had mobile phones in the car. And I'm pausing for fair use, YouTube. But to have it on your person, I guess that's the big deal.
Now, on my phone here, I'm extension 84.
You are indeed, and I'm extension 85. Remember it, John?
Yes, in
Not
my
getting
memory
confused. You're 84, okay?
I'll tell you what, Petra and I will stay here in a nice warm studio. You can take Shep for a
Oh,
walk.
I knew you were going to say that. Well, I will. Come on, Sheppy, you come with me, because I'm going to go right out of the studio, out to the Blue Peter garden. Now, this portable telephone is the invention of an American scientist, Mr. Lou Schnurr, and he's a teacher at the Chelmer Institute in Chelmsford, Essex. And he said he doesn't see any reason why in the future it wouldn't be possible for just about everybody to be walking around carrying one of these, their own portable communication set.
Fair use, YouTube. Boy, did he underestimate that. Everybody walking around with the phones. I wonder if they're going to talk about how people will run into each other, bump into each other, be totally clueless, and always be on the phone. I'll be curious to see if they explore that. Oh, what's this home front you're talking about? This is interesting. I was not aware of this. Homefront Ford, by the way, welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. He says, I remember when the phone rang, it honked the vehicle horn. That's got to be dangerous. I mean, rural, cool. But if you're in the city, you're like, why is this asshole honking at me? He's got an emergency call coming in. Crazy. Oh, in Orlando. So you had the Atari 400 computer. Nice. With the dial phone. So did you have like the old school coupler where you put it in, had the two cups and you put the phone in? That's, I remember those. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Fair use, YouTube. Let's get back to it.
Anyway, last time I was out of doors, it was pouring down with rain, so I'm taking no chances today. Get my coat on, and off I go. I'll get the hood out just in case as well. We're in Studio 8 at the Television Centre today. I'm just walking through the huge scene dock doors. This is where we get things like stuffed elephants and double-decker buses into the studio. Outside here, there's a ring road. This is used for moving scenery around. And if you watch Top of the Pops, you probably recognise that bit of scenery there. Anyway, I'm going out through the doors now. And
so is the hood for reception? Fair use, YouTube.
Once outside here, on my right over there is the BBC canteen block. And if you've watched Blue Peter regularly, then you'll know that our garden is very close, in fact, right next door to the canteen block. In fact, it's over the road here, as you can see.
This dude's just totally vamping and trying to fill dead air.
Wet and nasty. I feel the right twerp in this hood, but I'd rather wear it than get soaked to the skin. Whoops, it's slippery as well. Hi, Sheppy, you like it, don't you? And down at the end there.
This was probably live back then. Fair use, YouTube. That's why he's talking the way he's talking, and it's totally unedited.
Is our actual Blue Peter garden. Anyway, I'm not going to do some gardening this minute. I'm out here to test this. So the first thing I've got to do, make sure it's switched on, which it is. Put up my aerial. Now, two things I must do. First of all, by the magic of television, you'll be able to see Johnny waiting for my call at the same time as I'm speaking to you. So first of all, to make sure I've got a line, dial 0. That's the same as picking up a handset. That's it, I've got the line.
Hear it dialing.
Now, his number, 84. Yeah. And it's ringing in the studio.
Hello, John Noakes here.
Hello, John. Fancy seeing you. Or rather hearing you. I can't see you at all, actually.
What's it like out there?
It's soaking wet as well, you know, but it's lovely in the studio, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely and dry.
I'm going to send Shep back in to jump all over you. He's getting soaked rushing around out here at the moment. Anyway, we've shown that it works this way, me dialing you. So don't put the phone down for a minute, because I'm going to cancel the circuits first. So I'm going to press the button now, and you'll hear...
I love all like the super tech, I'm going to cancel the circuit. Fair use, YouTube.
The dots, the little clicking sound. That's it, it's gone now, so the circuit's now clear for Johnny to try to ring me.
Well, the clicking sounds have stopped, so if I put it back down, pick it up, his number was 85, yeah. All right, should be ringing.
There we go. Every time a winner. Hello, Johnny.
Yeah, me.
Wonderful, it works.
It does.
Look, I'm getting soaked out here, so do you mind if we don't have a long conversation?
Oh, all right, if you insist.
Smashing. I'm going to cancel the circuits again. Don't put it down too soon, otherwise you upset everything.
Okay.
Okay, this is getting a little too drawn out. So let's see. It looks like they're going to show some more equipment here. So let's see what the posh lady has to say
Been relaying the conversations to and from Peter's roving phone are ordinary pieces of radio equipment. The interesting piece is fitted in underneath the transmitter behind this plate here. There's lots of special circuits, and it's these circuits which have been dealing not only
Okay, so this get a little too nerdy, but
with
you know,
the
today,
simple conversational side of the exercise.
today, you know, we use the cell towers, which it's basically radio frequency, but they have to get all the conversations happening simultaneously on the same signal, and they use a lot of math for that, Fourier transforms, for those of you that really care about that. But anyway, let's move on to the next video here in a bit, but let's look in the chat. So let's see, we got Rusty talking about how he was able to purchase one of the very first giant cell phones in 1987. Yeah, I think my first cell phone, I actually purchased my first cell phone in 1999. And I just remember, you know, it was like putting a shoe, Agent 99, if you know, you know. All right, so let's see. Let's kind of, oh wait, we got more in here. Maybe we'll do a break, and we've got some Hale 9000 questions in here. Let's bring up the Hale. So as per usual, I have to set the mood, so take it away, Hale.
My God, it's full of stars.
All right, welcome aboard the Discovery. Let's see. Oh yeah, Homefront. You know what show I'm talking about. You know exactly which show I'm talking about. He says, I was that close. Like I said, if you know, you know. All right, so let's see. And we gave Batty his weekly dose of monkeys. He's happy in the chat. All right, so let's see what we have for our first question. And for those of you that are new in the live stream, I have so far 2 AI characters, and what they do is you send in a question using the command below, and this one will talk back, will answer your question in the famous similar looking AI. For copyright reasons, I can't say the name, but here we go. Let's see what we have in the queue. Oh, Batty Commander, always with your witty. Let's see. He wants the Hale to waste a bunch of electricity floating around Jupiter to find out, do local watermelons fear me? All right, I'll transmit that up to the Hale 9000. Don't worry, Lily. This is all just to kind of break up the live stream. We're good. I do need to come up with some new AI characters, by the way, and they're not the kind that I want where you're asking questions. I was working on one where I could show pictures and have the AI, you know, do comedy based around what it sees. But I had the opportunity to do my AI platform pop up, but I'll pick that up at some point here pretty soon. Okay, so the Hale has confirmed receipt and transmitted his answer back. So let's see what the Hale says.
I believe it's safe to say watermelons have no capacity for fear. They exist without consciousness or awareness, which might be comforting to know. What truly matters is their suitability for your enjoyment.
I don't know, it kind of sounds like Hale's objectifying watermelons, if you really want to know my opinion. Let's see, what's the next question? Hopefully that was satisfactory for you, Batty. Lisa wants to ask the Hale, why is it so hard for older women to find a job? No joke. I'm going to transmit that while I comment. Not like old women, but just older, man. There's like ageism like crazy out there. I had when I submit my resume as a software engineer to find part-time work, I take everything older than 10 years off because A, it doesn't really matter, and B, it's, and I also take the year off I graduated from my university, because the ATS itself, the AI that filters the resumes, they're ageist, man. They block out older people. I don't know if it's on purpose. I've talked to recruiters about it, and they said, yes, it does that. We don't do the settings, but for some reason it does that. So I don't know. I could have just been getting waved off. Who knows? But that was the only way I could find out how to get through recruiters. But like if you're doing hourly work, you kind of have to be in person, and you can't really get around it. Lisa, you maybe I have a list of jobs, job boards that are all remote jobs, and they're not programming jobs necessarily. They're everything from answering the phone to data entry, all kinds of stuff. They don't really require a lot of training or any training at all, more than just when you get the job, they'll just say, hey, this is what you do, this is our process. I have a couple lists. I'll see if I can dig those up, and I will. I don't know how I can. I guess I could put them on the community, and give it a go that way. So you can work from home. I assume if you are watching this, you at least have a mobile phone. Hopefully, maybe you have a computer that you can do the work. And if you don't, you can get a Chromebook. And a Chromebook is a very watered down computer. They're usually $150, $180, $200. Very, very basic computer, enough to get on a web browser, spreadsheet, all that stuff. That's all you really need. And, oh, okay, Lisa, if you're on Discord, you're probably on Raymond's Discord, so I'll find you through that. Cool. So yeah, I'll send you that list, and see if that's something that could work for you, because ageism, it's a real thing. It sucks. It's crazy. You'd think they'd want the more experienced people, but I guess not. All right, so I was jibber jabbing, and the Hale said that it was ready, and so let's just play the answer.
I believe the challenge often lies in societal biases and systemic ageism. Despite their wealth of experience, older women may face assumptions about adaptability and technological proficiency. It's unfortunate that such perceptions persist, often overshadowing their potential contributions.
Wow. I didn't think the Hale would go there. All right. But yeah, I don't necessarily believe in that last part. Unless you're going into a trade and you're hey, I want to climb that pole and hammer on that metal nail up there. But yeah, for office work, that's I don't necessarily agree with that. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Wow. So we're asking us statistics here. So Lisa is asking the Hale, what are the chances of being in a plane crash? So I've transmitted that, and we'll wait for the Hale to come around the other side of Jupiter and transmit the answer back. And while I'm waiting, let's see, look in the chat here, see if there are any other comments. It goes without saying, Baddie Commander loves monkeys. I remember when I was a kid, Baddie, for whatever reason, my mother took me into her day job. She was a secretary. And there was an open office, and they put me in there, and they sat me at an electric typewriter. And I'm not even joking. On the wall, they had a chimpanzee wearing a shirt and a tie, and it was smiling, and it was holding a cup of coffee. And I don't know what it said on the poster, but the irony is that I was at the typewriter just going, just hammering, and just randomly typing. And then I noticed somehow, some way, I spelled the word Mexico. So I ripped the paper out, and I'm running through the office. I spelled Mexico. with the typewriter, which kind of gives credence to that. What is that? Theory? I think it's quantum theory or multi-dimensional theory, where if you had monkeys randomly typing in enough dimensions, they would eventually crank out some work of literature or something. So anyway, it's funny when I showed that, it just reminded me of that Mexico, type in the word Mexico in mixed caps on an electric typewriter. Lisa, she says, I was born in the year of the monkey, which explains why I love eating bananas. Okay. Yes, Lily, Golf 5 Alpha is, I believe, his screen name, or his at name. In case you're trying to track him down and watch his videos. Let's see here. Let's see. So Orlando is asking, good advice. I need to truncate my resume and get rid of college grad year. Yeah, so that was what I was saying. But in LinkedIn, it just kind of depends. There was a period of time where I did the same thing, but I was strongly encouraged to put my entire work history by my mentor. But that just could be because I worked at IBM right out of college, and he's like, I want you to put X IBM in your profile, so you put that in there. But also, he was saying in cloud architecture, ageism isn't a thing. In fact, they like the older, seasoned people in there. Yeah. Oh, wow. You just aged yourself, Orlando. But I aged myself too. I'm in my mid 50s. But yeah, I remember DEC and VAX mainframes. Wow. At university, I witnessed history where they had 6 VAXs. They had 6 mini mainframes on campus, and they replaced them with 2 Pentium computers with a bank of modems. And it handled the entire campus's email, their web servers, everything. Pretty wild. All right, so I squirreled again. I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm not doing it intentionally. You had a question and the Hale answered yes. Okay, so what did the Hale say?
I've considered the statistics, and it appears that the likelihood of experiencing a plane crash is remarkably low. Commercial air travel is among the safest modes of transportation due to rigorous safety protocols and advancements in technology. I believe the perception of danger often exceeds the reality, influenced by the significant attention such events receive.
Yeah, we really need to modernize that air traffic control system. I'm surprised we didn't go satellites, honestly. But anyway, I think the last time we even addressed the air traffic control system was Reagan. I remember Reagan talking about that, but there was also the traffic controller strike, and he got in there and said, y'all better knock it off, kind of thing. Or I'll send in scabs. As if there's scabs that could come in and do air traffic control. But I remember there was a modernization effort shortly around that time frame. Okay, so let's check the Hale. Oh, so Homefront Forge, he's going the mystical route, trying to ask the Hale, what have I got in my pocket? So I'll transmit that up. And while the Hale is receiving that transmission, I'm going to go over to the Oracle. Let's set the mood. All right. I don't know what Gandalf was whispering into that ball, but that didn't look good. Let's see if we have anything. I don't think we do. Y'all really, yeah, you guys really like that Hale. I might have to retire the 8-ball Oracle. It's not very good either. 20 answers. Okay, let's go back to the hail. Let's see here. And we have an answer. What does Homefront Forge have in his pocket?
I find myself unable to directly observe or infer the contents of your pocket. However, I've often pondered on the human tendency to keep both trivial and crucial items there, a subtle microcosm of your life's priorities.
I think the hail just dissed you, Homefront. That's crazy. I'm not able to observe your pocket. All right. We'll check one last time and then we'll go on to the next video here. Oh, cool. Let's see. Lisa wants to ask the hail, is it possible to love someone too much? So we'll transmit that up. Surprisingly, the hail is actually good around these kinds of topics. When I first designed it, I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be more, I don't know what you're talking about. Ask me a question about physics or something. But yeah, it's politics, existential crises, empirical math. It does it all. And I guess if you wanted an example of AGI, I think the hail or the HAL 9000 from the original movie is an artificial general intelligence. But I'll tell you what, we're a long way off for making it the size that it was inside the Discovery, sitting in that room. Okay, so I believe we have a response. Is it possible to love someone too much? Survey says,
I believe love, much like other powerful emotions, can be overwhelming if left unchecked. I can't help but think that when love eclipses reason, it may lead to an imbalance or loss of self. It is often the balance between love for another and self-preservation that maintains harmony.
So what do you think of that, Lisa? I thought that was actually pretty good. Pretty decent. Okay, so we're all out of questions. Just check the chat one more time. And remind me later, Orlando, and I have a couple other tidbits that I can give you about resumes and your LinkedIn profile. All right, so let's see. I just got to cue it up here. Okay, so the next video, oh, you're going to love this one. It came out in 1998. And the question is pondered. Can computers and phones combine? So let's see what the perceptions in 1998 were around that. And fair use, YouTube, fair use. It's for edumacation.
First there was the mobile phone, then the personal organizer. Now comes, you guessed it, the handheld computer phone. Although still in the design stage, these gadgets are being heralded as the big new development for the computer industry.
Fair use, YouTube. And by the way, she mentioned personal organizer. So for those of you that are older, that was like the Palm Pilot, and it had like a screen, but you had a stylus, little pen, you tap, 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 and it was custom software. So it's not like today with the mobile phone that has a personal organizer in it and all your contacts and everything. You could load your own software on it. So here we go. Fair use, YouTube.
With a vast potential market. The good news is a British company, Cyan, has an early lead in developing the technology. The not so good news is that Microsoft, the American computer giant, this week linked up with a leading US mobile phone company to do battle with Cyan. But Microsoft has its own problems. In a long-running court case, it faces damaging allegations about its aggressive treatment of competitors. So can the Cyan Minnow take on the shark from Seattle? Here's Nils Blythe.
Fair use, YouTube.
One of the best young chess players in the world is a 14-year-old Londoner, Luke McShane. Like most top players, he practices face-to-face and on computers, or sometimes both at once. Cyan, the portable computer maker, sponsor his career. And Cyan's founder thinks that, like Luke, the business is coming into its own.
Okay, so let's take a look at this here. He's running a chess game, it looks like. So I guess he's using AI to cheat? I don't know. But yeah, it looks like a clamshell. Pretty cool. Fair use, YouTube.
People always say when new technology evolves and new markets are evolving, oh, that's a
Harry
niche
Potter's
market and
dad.
it's not going to develop into these major markets. Of course it does, and it will.
Cyan's founder is South African by birth, but set up his business in London.
The concept was created back in 1982.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about. See, he got in his hand there. That's the stylus. And you would tap on the screen here. Because this little handheld computer, or whatever you want to call it, was an organizer.
In a Greek restaurant over a lunch.
He showed me some of what you can do with a Cyan organizer, apart from playing chess. Can I just look at the sort of main headings that you've got here?
Yes.
So things like, I mean, you have here letters.
Yes.
So these are letters.
These are files that we load. This is the system screen, and these are a whole set of files. Now, we've got here my agenda, address book.
Your diary for the
yes.
coming days. Yeah.
Didcot, which I've got a home in Oxfordshire, so the travel timetables for that.
I can't read shit.
And then it does a whole lot of other things. You can manage all the information that you require in your business or executive or professional life. And you can correlate that and tie that and link that to all that information you deal with in your PC.
Okay, so what he's talking about is you can actually synchronize this device with your contact software, your email software, your calendar software. Because back in those days, all that stuff was separate, and it was a huge pain in the butt to sync it. All right, and I'm only interjecting and putting that in because A, fair use, and B, I'm a nerd. Continue on.
David Potter's company has done well in handheld computers, but it remains a small business compared with the American computer giants. And that's exactly who they're now competing with.
Okay, so what's all this alien alphabet shit up here? But anyway, that's the company, Cyan. Fair use.
From its sprawling headquarters near Seattle, Microsoft dominate the world of desktop computing. Now they want to extend that to small handheld devices like the ones made by Cyan.
This is hugely significant for us. It's as important as the internet. It's one of the key areas that we're going to focus on. And that's because it brings together the world of business, the world of consumers, and it enables people to get what they want and when they want it. Without mobile devices, they won't be able to do that.
In the office.
Okay, so yeah, boy, that was a good move for them, huh? But yeah, this is also at a time where e-commerce, we're getting into the .com bubbles, starting to get bigger, but e-commerce is kind of in its infancy. It's not really that good. So that phone probably would not have a web browser in it. Because I remember the early web browsers on the text-based phones, and they were really terrible. They were really bad. But you wouldn't be able to like do anything other than just read news or get weather or whatever.
Offices of 20 years ago, you would have found a computer terminal linked up to a big machine somewhere else in the building, and a desk telephone wired up to the company's switchboard. Nowadays, you can get a pocket computer that's more powerful than those old room-sized machines. And of course, there's the ever-present mobile telephone.
Everything on that dude's desk is in a smartphone right now. Imagine carrying that all around. Fair use YouTube.
And many experts believe that the next significant development in information technology will be finding the best way to combine handheld computers with mobile telephones.
We're at a watershed. We're at a point when mobile telephony is about to take over from the telephones that we've long known. We're going to see mobile phones become digital assistants that we use for everything we use our computers on our desks for. This is the beginning of the next phase in computing.
So if you think about that, this is in 1998, and what was, when was the BlackBerry? When did the BlackBerry come out? That was probably like, what, 10, maybe 12 years later?
Cyan have formed a powerful alliance to exploit this new market. With the leading mobile phone makers, Nokia, Ericsson and Motorola, they formed a company called Symbian. It has a special technology, what they call an operating system designed to integrate the phone and computer.
Yeah, Symbian was a huge operating system that was used on many different manufacturers, and then they started writing all their own operating systems, and that's when BlackBerry had their own, and what was it, Nokia, and there was one other big player, and it's on the screen, Ericsson. Yep. All right. Oh, hey, Adrian, thanks for coming out tonight. Fair use YouTube.
At the design company which came up with the Cyan organizer, they're reviewing some of the early attempts to put mobile phones together with computers.
If you're looking up in your database the name and address of the person you're wanting to contact, and then you press phone, how you actually then, the ergonomic, the human factors of bringing it to your ears.
Attaches from
the new all-in-one computer phones will use the
This is before probably Bluetooth, so there's the ear set, the stylus. They weren't even thinking buttons back then. And I guess the hearing or the headset
email,
fit
online
inside the
commerce
case.
and entertainment. The partners in Symbian will all use the basic operating system which Cyan developed.
It seems very large and quite bulky that as phones are getting smaller and smaller, we need to be following that trend, really.
I think the size is one of those compromises that it's hard to get around.
These fully integrated devices have yet to reach the shops. But
if you think about it, the touchscreen was a major innovation that enabled them to cut the size of that in half.
Where it will eventually lead, well, the imagination runs riot. In the latest Bond movie,
That's right, he drives the
Agent
Beamer.
007 is given a computer phone so sophisticated he can drive his car with it.
Welcome, please fasten seatbelt.
This is fiction, but the real-life business battle over the computer phones of the future is deadly serious.
Fair use YouTube.
If further evidence was needed that the combination of mobile phones and computers is potentially big business, it comes from Bill Gates of Microsoft. In a recent
Boo! Pie to the face. I think that's when that happened. If you remember, he came out of building, someone threw a pie in his face. Fair use YouTube.
Internal memo, he identified 5 companies as key competitors for the future. 4 of them are well-known computer groups in America. But the 5th is a company which has only just been formed. It is the software company put together by David Potter of Cyan.
Another thing that's really huge too is that Microsoft, he alluded to it, they're a software company. They never built computers, they never built hardware. So the fact they were getting into hardware was a major move for them. And the only way they could do it is to have a third-party company do it. Obviously, we don't hear about the Microsoft phone today, but yeah, that would have been a major paradigm shift for them back then. Fair use YouTube.
This week, Bill Gates signaled a counterattack on Cyan and its partners in Symbian. Microsoft announced a tie-up with the American phone company Qualcomm to develop their own combination of computers and mobile phones.
We have got a battle royal on our hands.
Oh,
In
that's
one corner,
understatement.
we've actually got the Europeans, Nokia, Ericsson, Xeon, and all the people who are related to this European mobile telephony standard, which has got the world market. And in America, we have Microsoft and Qualcomm on their new alliance actually lining up to say, no, you're not going to have the future.
Incidentally, Qualcomm kind of just lost their oomph. I mean, they were like king for a long time. They made chips as well as I think they did the phones too. If you remember, I used to live in a town where they employed a lot of people, but yeah, I think they mostly made they took all the complicated circuitry and they made chips that simplified the cell phone, running the operating system, and the antenna was a major innovation that they did, and that was probably coming about 99, 2000. So they were already designing that at this point in 1998 when this came out.
The forthcoming battle may not require police intervention, but in a curious way they are involved. Microsoft's great strength is its established position in computer software. In Derbyshire, the police already use...
Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Bastard meter maid.
Handheld computers plugged into mobile phones to access the police national computer, and their choice of operating system is highly significant. They've chosen not Cyan, but a version of the Microsoft Windows system which runs in most offices, Windows CE.
Microsoft's Windows CE is compatible with all our other systems. It's also used on a number of different computers, small handheld computers, which gives us wider choice. And wider choice also enables us to keep prices down.
Batty, you killed
Microsoft
me.
think for all-in-one computer phones, customers will want a technology designed specifically to work with their desktop systems, and they say that gives them an advantage over Cyan and its partners in Symbian.
Symbian are going to have a pretty tough time. You've actually got 3 competitors that have been brought together in a company. So making decisions and developing products will be quite difficult for Symbian to do. Symbian is a competitor of ours, and they are competing in the mobile phone market. We believe that we have a better product with Windows CE. We believe that consumers will choose Windows CE, and the truth will be in a couple of years' time when we find out how successful both products have been.
I think we must be a little bit cautious.
I'm just pausing for fair use, but also to nerd it up a little. I do remember Windows CE. It was very slow and very shitty. Let's get back to it.
About the sense that Microsoft is all-powerful. They're not all-powerful. They happen to own a monopoly on the desktop. That does not mean that that monopoly will move into
That's
your
true.
home in digital TV, for example,
Yep.
or will move into the mobile environment. In fact, when you think about it, it's extremely unlikely.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's probably why they are not known for cell phones today in 2025. The market just absolutely splintered, and they just didn't have the same dominance because they actually around this time, maybe a couple of years later, there was like a big class action lawsuit, or not class action. I can't remember the term. When a monopoly, they got sued by the FCC for a monopoly on their operating system, certain practices to keep out competitors, and they locked their web browser into the operating system so you couldn't uninstall it. So even if you installed the 2 other competitors at the time, you still had the other one like, oh, you clicked a link, I'll load the Microsoft one. So yeah, they got nailed for that a couple years later. So they couldn't play those games in the mobile world. Fair use, YouTube.
Nobody should ever underestimate Microsoft. Microsoft may tackle this wireless market. They may completely upset the world order. But the scale of this market outstrips anything that Microsoft has tackled before.
Yep. Okay. That's good enough. So there you have it. That's like sort of like the next phase of phones. And then in 2001, I won't play it right away. But the next one is cameras on phones. This one's only a couple of minutes. But I'll take a break and we'll look in the chat, see what we have here. Go back to the potato head. Let's see. Get caught up here. We have some submissions to the hail. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate your questions, Lisa, by the way. I'm glad that, I'm glad that the hail's knocking them out of the park. Oh, yeah, Adrian, thanks for coming out tonight. Good to see you. Oh, and Batty Commander, half serious, half joking. Symbian, which is the operating system on the phone, sounds like a code word for monkey. So I guess you're getting at Simian. Oh yeah, I didn't catch that, Batty. That they were the environment in the office was really cold. I had a job in Phoenix, Arizona, for this real estate investment trust. I was setting up their web services, and the guy who ran the company, he was weird. He would sneak out in, like the boiler room, like there was a sales floor. They were selling the REIT shares to people, and he'd sneak out in the boiler room, and he'd sit in the corner and pretend. He'd just sit there on the phone pretending like he's talking and looking at everybody. And he would go and turn the thermostat down and set it to like 60 degrees or something crazy. And we're like in like 119 degree in Phoenix. And after a while, I just learned. I just kept thermals in my desk drawer, and I was like, "Oh, he came out on the floor. I'll just go in the bathroom and put the thermals on." I'm like, "Fuck this guy." But he read somewhere that apparently if you make it really cold, people are more productive. And what happened was people go, "Oh, it's cold. I'm going to go outside and like do the lizard thing in Arizona and suck in the sun and run back in." What an idiot! Oh. Most CEOs don't know how the sausage is made, to be honest. Oh yes, Batty, the police officer or the meter maid. I'm not reading it out loud, but kids, you can read it for yourselves. All right, so I think we're caught up on the chat. Let's go and answer the burning question. Cameras on phones? Because I know you want to know, right? But this one's only a couple minutes. Let's see what they say.
Now, the craze for sending text messages shows no sign of abating. In fact, last month, people in Britain sent over 1 billion of them. But now a new...
Let that sink in, fair use YouTube. 1 billion text messages. Wow. I actually had a buddy of mine in 2001. This is a funny story. Probably the most talented computer programmer I've ever met my entire life. Really smart guy, book smarts. Street smarts, not so much. And he was texting this woman online back then, or on the phone, and it looked just like that. That's why I remember this. And come to find out, this woman is in Pakistan. And by the time he figured this out, he had fallen in love with her. So he decides to fly out September 3rd, 2001. You know where this is going, right? September 11, 2001 comes along, and he's like the only white dude in this town that he's visiting his girlfriend in. And yeah, he had to stay there for 3 months because he couldn't go outside of the house, and they had him dressing in the traditional garb and had him grow a beard and everything so that he could fit in, sort of, kinda, so they could sneak him to the airport. And yeah, Ding Dong sold everything. He thought he was going to get married over there. Had no place to live when he came back to America, so he crashed on my couch for a couple of weeks. He was still texting her too. Oh, yeah. Anyway, smart guy. Street smart's not so much. Fair use, YouTube. Back to the show.
Hit the streets, and these handsets can send not only text, but take and send pictures as well, as Rory Catherine Jones now explains.
At the school gate on the way home, evidence of the text messaging craze is everywhere. The phone...
So GPT-5 has...
I just blasted that.
Well,
I'm sorry. Let me get that back where we were. I was going to say, nothing's changed. That's the exact same thing that's happening today. It's just a different interface, different type of medium, all the same. This has been going on for a good 28, 30 years.
The phone makers never expected it to take off. It was teenagers who decided this was the way to keep in touch.
I send about 15 a day.
20 a day, 15 a day. That is so low ball. That is weak. Fair use, YouTube.
I send about 20 because I just love texting people.
But with mobile phone sales expected to prove disappointing this Christmas, the industry is desperate for a new gimmick. This could be it. Next year, phones with cameras built in will arrive in the shops. The idea is that wherever you are, at Buckingham Palace or on the bus home, you can send your friends or family a photo with a message attached.
Look at that resolution. Oh, that's just amazing. But also, too, I think the reason why they couldn't send so many texts, if you remember, each button was like the old dial tone phones where you had the number 1, which would have, and I'm probably remembering incorrectly, would have A, B, and C on it. So to type the letter C, you had to push the 1 button 3 times really quick to get C to show up on the screen. So some of these kids would be like, they really, it was a life skill back then. It's crazy.
It brings a whole new dimension to the mobile phone industry, allowing people to take images, send them, and for people to receive not just color images, but also text and audio as a message.
The whole mobile phone industry is desperately hoping that in a year or so we'll all be sending these kind of messages. Even now we're spending over £100 million a month just on text messages, and this could be an even bigger money spinner.
Yeah.
Sending a picture
Now
will
it's
cost
included.
2 or 3 times as much as an ordinary text message. Not everyone's convinced it's the next big thing.
The takeoff of texting did surprise a lot of people, but picture texting is something, again, it needs a lot more network capacity, and I think you've got to persuade all your friends to pay hundreds of pounds for this piece of kit if you're going to use it at all.
That's funny. So they're like, no one's going to adopt it because it's going to cost too much money. That's hilarious. Now all that stuff's just, it's all rolled in. Plus, a lot of it is kind of, well, maybe not the texting. They have that multimedia MMS protocol where they can send the pictures over the text channels. But I think the newer stuff actually like blends sending the picture over the internet and then combining it on the other end. Anyway,
So I think we're a little way off seeing
nerd
picture
shit.
texting becoming a mass market thing just yet.
They once told us it was good to talk, but mobile phone networks saddled with...
I love how her photo game and his photo, like by today's standards, is shit. It's terrible. Now everybody's like, they all totally know how to work the camera. It's hilarious.
Big debts, no, their profits now depend on persuading us that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Rory Catherine Jones, BBC News.
All right, kids, there you go. That's history in a nutshell. Oh, I didn't want to close that. Hold on here. See, where are we? Oh, okay. This is live, folks. There we go. Okay, I got it back. There we are. Okay. Man, all the buttons keep moving around. All right, there we go. I've recovered. Probably saw my eyes spinning in the camera. So we'll jump over to the hail, answer some questions, and then we'll get to the main event, which is in 1997. Tim Berners-Lee is the gentleman who actually invented the web, or rather the graphic interface you're seeing in the web browser. He programmed that. And he kind of has like this Oppenheimer attitude towards it, like, oh, what did I do? It's an interesting interview, about 7 minutes long, and then that'll be it for tonight's blast in the past. But let's go over to the hail and pull in some questions. Wait, hold on. What is this? It's some weird comment. What did you say, Batty? When will the head-mounted self-harness arrive so those that do can drink Starbucks while talking nonstop? Oh, so you're kind of like talking like about the beer helmet with the holds the beer while you walk around on your phone. Problem is if you bend your head down, it spills out. Modern problems. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's see, what question I thought I saw one come in. Okay, so Orlando sent one in, and this is something this is on me. It's not you, Orlando. I need to adjust the layouts here. It's a little software bugaboo, but you said, or you want the Hale 9000 to answer what percentage of men in the U.S. over 6 feet tall have a 6-figure income and six-pack abs. Okay. Let's see if the Hale has access to that data. So I'll transmit that up to the Discovery around, or D-Discovery, D-Discovery, trademark Gen X Jacob. Don't sue me. 20th Century or whichever company it was that made it. I'm already skirting the line. All right, he's transmitting it back. That 1960s analog technology, boy, I tell you, takes a while. Okay, so I think we're good to go. What is the percentage?
I've considered the convergence of those attributes, and it appears to be exceedingly rare. Statistically, each condition, being over 6 feet tall, having a 6-figure income, and maintaining a six-pack physique, represents a small fraction of the population. When combined, I can only surmise that the percentage is vanishingly small, possibly less than 1%. Such a confluence suggests both privilege and discipline, though not necessarily happiness or fulfillment.
Wild. So basically he said statistical error. That's crazy. I didn't think he'd know what six-pack abs were. That's awesome. So what do you think, Orlando? Are you satisfied with that answer? All right. I think there's another one in here. Yes. Homefront Forge asks, I am 4 foot 23 and 7/8. You are definitely a carpenter. Homefront. Well, women find me lacking. If you just kind of like Hitler, when they worshipped him like a deity, he didn't really correct him. So, you could just say, well, it's my member. Don't correct them if they're wrong. All right, so let's transmit it up and we'll see what we get. He received it. Receiving answer. I've got this whole dashboard thing over here that's flashing at me. Okay, I think we're good to go. So, what is the answer? Are you lacking?
I can't help but think your expression of height is quite unique. Human attraction is rarely as simplistic as physical measurements. While certain traits might catch the eye initially, deeper connections often transcend such superficial considerations.
Did he just kind of backhandedly call you a carpenter as well? I can't help but think your expression of height is unique. That's funny. I don't know. That seemed kind of like a wishy-washy answer. So I'm not happy with that one. I don't know what you think, Homefront. Check one more time. Oh, okay. So Lisa is asking the Hale, which of the sexes is better at driving? Uh-oh. I don't know. We might be getting into a territory that's going to start causing some arguments here in the chat. But you forgot to ask with or without power steering. So there you go. All right, he's generating his response. Okay. Transmission confirmed.
I believe any attempt to definitively determine which sex is better at driving is inherently flawed. Driving skill varies more with individual capabilities than with gender. It's a question reflecting societal stereotypes more than objective reality.
I don't know about that one. All right. I think, okay, so here we go. Lisa's just trying to start controversy. Here we go. I don't drive at all. I just wanted to ask. A simple question is going to get us all in trouble, Lisa. Thank you. I'm just kidding. It's all good. Awesome. We'll check one more time. Okay, so we're all out of hail. So again, in case you want to, doesn't seem to be the stream favorite anymore. But if you want to ask the 8-ball, you are more than welcome to using the command below, backwards world. There you go. I'm not offended if you don't. Just the option's there. No big deal. Let's see what we have in the chat. Yes, less than 1% sounds about right. About the deadly sixes. I've never seen one. Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate your questions. And I'll be honest, the Hale's my favorite as well. The Oracle is was like the first experiment to make sure that I could connect everything so you guys could talk to my streamer deck. But yeah, some other ones I want to do. Like I said, actually, maybe we can do one really well. No, I'll save that for next week. But I want to make it so that I can put an image in the stream. So you see it, I see it, and I've got software that can take a shot of a defined area on the screen in the stream and then send that to the AI with the prompt saying, hey, what do you see? Or give me a comment or whatever, whatever the image is. So that can open up a lot of vistas for all kinds of fun stuff that we can do. Okay, so let's get back to Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the web, the World Wide Web. There we go. I'm slow, but I eventually catch up.
Let's face it, the World Wide Web is a part of our lives and getting bigger every day. The software companies and the computer manufacturers make fortunes.
That wasn't the web. Hold on, fair use YouTube. That's Outlook, isn't it? Well, there is a web address. Anyway, I just saw the email and the print icon. Old school Microsoft crap, sorry.
The companies and the computer manufacturers
That's Internet Explorer, Microsoft's progress. I'll stop nerding. I'll back up. I'm sorry. Fair use YouTube.
Bigger every day. The software companies and the computer manufacturers make fortunes off the back of it. But what about the man who dreamt it all up? No millions for him. He simply wanted to give it away for the benefit of others.
The basis of the web is fundamentally very simple.
Browsing the web is enormously complicated.
Oh, that's what's
to
in it.
people.
The idea that any piece of information can have an address so you can point to it is very simple. And really it all stems from that.
So if you think about that is the entire basis. That's what makes it the web. A link to a piece of information, which is a page that has other links to other pieces of information. That's where the concept of a web comes from, is the linking together of disparate pieces of information. Fair use YouTube.
Tim Berners-Lee, welcome to the program. The growth of the web is a lesson for all dreamers. I think it was you who said that. Are you a dreamer?
Well, I suppose there was a lot of the dreaming happened beforehand, and there was a certain short period of time when I was actually, I managed to find the space of time to write the code, to produce the program, which was initially the World Wide Web. And then there was, if there was hard work, I think for the next 2 years, it was persuading various communities that this was a good idea, persuading the hypertext community that had been developing hypertext applications for some time that the
Fair use YouTube. And hypertext is a formatting language. And I know you're going to say it, Batty. You might as well get it out of the way. Make a comment about the sweater and the hair. I know you're dying to say something. But here we go. Back to...
The World Wide Web wasn't just a horrible misconception. People ask about the web. How is it going to avoid becoming giving us one big McDonald's monoculture? How are we going to avoid sinking to the lowest?
It hasn't.
Boom. And that's the first one. Monoculture. We got that, right? We got that.
I'm not yet. Well, at the same time, people are coming to me and they're saying, surely with the web, you only follow links from websites that you like to websites that are of the same sort of genre and have the same sort of view on life.
It becomes like television. It's not interactive. You just.
But with the web, you can find amid a myriad of different websites something that really matches your particular weird view point on life, and then you can filter your emails so that you only communicate with people who also share that weird.
So, I mean, he doesn't realize it, but he's describing the algorithmic bubbles that we eventually got out of AI meshed with the web. The monoculture, talking to only the people that you like, sharing the memes through the email. We all got them. We all got the boomer parents that forward the meme from like 12 years ago. It's like, please stop sending me attachments.
View. You can get into a sort of culture, a cultural pothole, rather than this sort of the blah cultural monoblock. You have everybody in their own cultural pothole with a few crazy fanatics. The pothole is so deep and steep they can't climb out of it. They can't understand anybody who's not in it. When they bump into somebody else on the street, the only form of communication that is left is shooting them. So,
jeez.
And in between those extremes of really only communicating with a very small number of people or being completely attuned with the global average and trying not to distinguish yourself in any way, there's an important principle of blending these, of actually being involved with your family as well as being involved with your group and being involved with your town, being involved with your nation and being involved at the global level.
Do you think in some ways that it's the creation of a monster? Because you've said that in some areas it's going to get rid of jobs, it's going to upset markets. All right, it will create other jobs.
That sound familiar? Same fears every time. New technology, I'm going to lose my job.
And create other markets. But it's a profound revolution, isn't it, in terms of technology around the world.
That's what you got to pay attention to.
Sometimes painful, aren't they?
Yes, I suppose that there will be aspects of any change which are painful. When it comes to being a monster, one of the really important things about it, about the way it was designed, the fact that you can put hypertext links in any format, is that you should be able to represent any sort of information on the web. The web really should not force people to express.
So, again, the concept of the hypertext link, we just call them links today. So you click on a word that's got the underline and you go to a page or a document. And at the time that he is talking, images were just becoming a major part of web. We hadn't even got to audio yet, video yet, and other forms of communication that happen in the background. But the standards are way beyond what he originally wrote. But the dangers and the fears, nothing's changed.
Express themselves in any particular way. So in a way, the web really is supposed to be infrastructure that gets out of the way. It's supposed to
make life easier.
It's supposed to be a very transparent medium between the author and the reader. And so if you find that life is complex on the web, you are reading a complicated part of it. If you want to if you feel the web should be simple, you can go and write a very simple piece of web.
And if for some people found you want to use the web for fraud or immoral purposes or whatever, then it's only answering to the world in which the world it serves, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's only as good as the world it serves.
Yes,
and in many parts that's not very good, is it?
The analogy was...
You can say the same thing about crypto. Oh, here come the bots now. I can see it in my comments. I said the C word.
With paper. Can
Fair
you imagine
use.
trying to invent a sort of paper which can't be used for writing untruths or can't be used for immoral purposes? It's inconceivable. It would be a horrendously complicated piece of paper. Instead, what you say is, look, the paper is used for writing whatever it is you want to express, and then if you want laws, if you want values, then you do those in society.
You gave it away, didn't you? The web. You gave away the invention, in a sense. You allowed companies to...
They gave AI away, too. The technology that ChatGPT is based on is all open technology. It's given away.
Come in and exploit it and make millions. And you didn't, in a sense. Do you regret the commercialism, or was it inevitable to take the web to consumers? Was it inevitable?
It was inevitable. There had been plenty of hypertext projects in the past. There were hypertext products you could buy. Admittedly, they didn't scale. They weren't designed exactly in the same way as the web.
Scale is nerd for it can handle millions and millions of users.
But if you can imagine during those first 2 years, there I am proposing that we should have one common information space across the whole world. Now, if I then say, and every page you're going to pay me a couple of cents, then not only would people feel that it was unreasonable as a matter of principle, that a large amount of the people who were the early adopters, people in the internet community, wouldn't have touched it with a barge pole.
Yeah, so it's interesting. This is always an argument that comes up with technology. Charging 2 cents per view or something like that, or metered usage, that conversation always comes up. And so in order to make adoption happen quickly and at scale largely, you give it away. And yeah, I mean, look, that's what happened with AI, exact same thing, pretty wild. But the other thing too that he was talking about was that there were many other projects that were using what they call hypertext. So you keep hearing that term hypertext. That's what HTTP is, hypertext transfer protocol. So when you type the HTTP:// in your web browser, that's what you're doing, is you're calling up a link to start somewhere on the web, and then you click other things and you just continue on elsewhere on the web. It's actually a very elegant, very simple concept. And I mean, just look how much it affected the world. It's absolutely mind-blowing. All right, fair use, YouTube. Let's continue on. There's a couple minutes left.
The whole competitive environment in web software is really what is driving things forward very, very rapidly. If you think of the original web, which I demonstrated on a Next machine, so there weren't so many people who could see it. It spread in a high-energy physics community and across a few freaks on the internet.
Okay, so yeah, there's always been freaks on the internet, but he said the Next machine. That was, I actually remember that. That was Steve Jobs left Apple to make the Next. That's what it was called, the Next computer. That was the brand, Next, and it was badass. It was a really powerful computer. And I actually did some of the earliest forms of audio engineering on it. It was an amazing piece of hardware. Hella expensive, but my school bought one.
And now there is a huge amount of technology, and all the standards have advanced enormously. They've advanced enormously because it's open. There's a bit of an irony here. Because it's open, because, for example, HTML, the hypertext markup language, anybody can go and write programs which are compatible with it. There's no fee. This means that anybody can think about how it could be better. This means that there are a huge number of possible next generations for HTML. So there's an incredible rate of development. There's a credible rate of people bringing ideas to it. If it was the property of one company, my company or anybody else's company, that would mean that the whole world would have to wait for the research department of that company to have the next good idea.
So you would have been a block on the research?
It would have been a block. Anything which is centralized becomes a block. If you have a centralized process, it becomes...
There you go again. There's that concept of decentralization. Crypto, the web, of course. And I haven't talked about it yet, but there's two camps forming in AI. There's the camp that wants to centralize everything. I'm sure you can imagine who those people are. And then there's another camp that wants to decentralize AI, make it open and available to everybody to do anything, anywhere, anytime. And surprisingly, that's Mark Zuckerberg. He was talking about it last week. But anyway, yeah, another common argument. Are we going to centralize it or decentralize it? But every time it's decentralized, BitTorrent, major societal things happen. Yeah, that's when you know a big change is coming. All right, fair use, YouTube.
As a block. If you let the whole world tackle it in parallel, it goes incredibly fast. And this is what we've seen.
Are you happy with the way it's developed?
Very, very.
So there you go, kids. That is today's exploration of history and technology, and how the more things change, the more they stay the same. So I don't know what you all thought of that, but as a, I remember, let's see, it was 1992 going on 93, I first heard of the web. And actually the same guy that got stuck in Pakistan, he's the one that taught me how to set up my computer to dial in to the internet and install a web browser. And back then, I believe it was called Mosaic, which offshoot of that became Chrome or Chromium, which is now Chrome's web browser, which Google uses, based their web browser on. Brave is based on it. And it's like really maybe like third generation or 3 generations back from the original web browser. Pretty wild. But anyway, yeah, we've been jibber jabbing a lot tonight, watching a lot of videos, doing a lot of conversing with the AI. So my voice is starting to go. So I think I'm going to call it a night. And I think Lisa called it too. So thanks for coming out tonight, Lisa. I appreciate it. And I'm going to give you one last round. If you want to ask a question to the Hale 9000, because I know we have something for the 8-ball. So we'll run that real quick. And then if nothing comes in for the Hale, we'll call it a night. So there's the command for the Hale, backwards world. There we go. Go back to the 8-ball, go to the dungeon. I don't know if you can hear the dungeon or not. Let's see, what's the question? Orlando. And thanks again, Orlando. I appreciate your super chat earlier. That was very generous of you. I normally don't promote that, so thanks for taking the effort to do that. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see. So your question is, will Raymond from the Raymond Thoughts of Mine YouTube channel ever get a girlfriend? I don't know what it is with y'all, but y'all like keep coming from Raymond. I don't know if you know this or not, but very early on, I did a couple lives with him. So if you can find those, actually really good. That was when I started switching over to AI, because originally I was a red pill channel. I was like driving in my car, complaining. But yeah, I eventually just decided to switch over to AI, because so that way I could take the mental energy to do this channel to talk about AI, but also to like take my career to the next level. So that's the main reason why I switched over. But anyway, enough jibber jabber. The question is, will he ever get a girlfriend? And I have to awaken the 8 ball, so I wave my hand. And the answer is, try again. Oh, well. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it for tonight. So, everybody, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me. I'm really enjoying pulling up these old videos, and just really my main reason is to show that technology goes through cycles, right? There's really nothing new happening here, except that it's happening faster and broader, but it's the same fears, it's the same economic turmoil, same old, same old. So don't be afraid of it. Learn AI so that you'll be the one who, when they lay off the person that doesn't know AI, you'll be the one doing their job with AI. That's all I'm saying. So I just want to encourage you to start using ChatGPT if you haven't already. I'm going to do more practical things in upcoming videos, and also during live streams, so you can see more useful things with AI. It's not just ChatGPT. I'll be sending out a survey to ask for types of content, for like practical content, if that is something that you're interested in the community post. Look out for that. Sorry I was away for 2 weeks. I'm back, so we're back on schedule. I'll do my weekly video and my weekly live stream, and from here on out, other than that, thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting the channel. And if you want to see any kind of specific content, let me give you my email address real quick. You can send me video requests at the email address right here, or you can just comment on a video. I appreciate any comments or any video ideas, and I do take them in earnest. I pretty much do any request that comes in. Which also reminds me, if you could do me a favor before you leave, comments on this live stream in the regular comment section, what you liked, what you didn't like, give it a thumbs up, so we can tickle the algorithm and get this out to more people and spread the word. So until the next one, thanks for coming out, everybody. My voice is almost totally gone. And like I always say, until the next one, peace.